Hey everybody, Cokeman 250 here. Well, about once a week I got to drive to the big city to a meeting, and I usually ride with a guy, and we talk about world events, we talk about what's going on locally, all around us. We talk about stuff that you don't see on the media putting out, that stuff we know is going on. We just have conversation about that kind of stuff to that nature 99.9% of the time. Well, today he's on vacation this week, not me, him. And so I'm driving this alone, and I'm on my way home right now. And I've noticed over the last 5 or 6 weeks we've been coming up here and going home. We get out at rush hour, and for years, we've been doing this 4 or 5 years, and it's bumper to bumper traffic. It's stop and go. It's far as you can see in front of you traffic, far as you can see in the rearview mirror traffic. And I've noticed the last 5 or 6 times there hadn't been near as much traffic, and there hadn't been a whole lot of stop and goes. It's pretty straight through, which makes me wonder, is the economy affecting this? I know, what we hear on the news and stuff is probably just a small percentage of what actually goes on. Pop Prepper did a little video about a cabinet shop that went out of business that you'll probably never hear of unless you go watch Pop's video. And I'm going to tell you, that's how much of that's going on we don't know about. Anyway, the point of the video is traffic in your area becoming less? Is there less traffic on the roads going to work in the mornings and getting off work in the afternoons than there was, say, a year or two ago in your area? Write in the comments below. I'd like to know, and it's probably going to be different in different areas across the country, but there's different ways to notice how the economy's doing in your local area, and it's all at your fingertips and all around you if you're just aware of it. And the traffic thing I wasn't aware of. Hey, when did they drastically start reducing? When did traffic drastically start reducing? I wasn't aware of that point, but when it got to a certain point is when I become aware. So, Craigslist. Go look at your Craigslist in your local area. And I know 2 years ago, I could look at Craigslist and see everything for sale in my local area in about 15 minutes. And now I can go on there, and you can look at your local area for sale and look for an hour and might not even see everything. And I live in a small area, a small community. So I can only imagine in big cities and stuff like that. So, also Facebook. Anybody with Facebook is probably a member of umpteen amount of groups that people are selling stuff. County swap shops, barter sites, for sale, guns and ammo sales, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of groups that you can be a member of. And people are selling on that stuff 24 hours a day. And if you'll look at some of that stuff, people are selling everything they have. Nothing is, worth anything to anybody anymore personally. And I say that because I've seen items on there that would be like more dear to your heart than what you'd want to sell. But when do you sell those things that are near and dear to your heart? You sell them when you gotta have the money. That's when you sell that kind of stuff. When you gotta have the money, and when you gotta pay something, or when you don't have any money. So you see more and more of that stuff. What happens when these people run out of stuff to sell? Well, in my opinion, they're already running out of stuff to sell. And I'm not categorizing these people any other. These people are you and me and the people around us, okay? This isn't a group of people. It's not a certain group of people. These are people, working class folks like me and you, that are down to the stuff that they didn't want to sell to pay bills, and now they're having to. If you'll open up your local newspaper, I'm sure there's a they call it police beat in my local newspaper, and it's pretty much what happens, what kind of calls the cops are responding to, and stuff like that. Well, if you look, there's more and more robberies, crime, just crime in general, drug busts. It's starting to rise, and it's starting to rise in areas where it never was a problem before, which also leads me to believe that, what are you going to do for your family if you have no money and you have to have something? I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do, but I'm saying when you get desperate measures sometimes is what it takes. And I pray to God that I never get in that situation. I pray to God. But it's all around us, folks. It's real. And, we can watch this in the movies all day long and never think it's happening around us or that it couldn't happen to us, but it can. And it is. You guys check out your local newspapers. Be aware of this stuff. Check out your Craigslist. You guys leave me some comments down in the bottom. I'd kind of like to know how different communities around the country are how they're leaning economically by looking at the things that surround us. The point being is be aware, because the worse that this type of stuff happens, the worse crime is going to get, and the worse the social system around you breaks down. Look at how many houses are for sale in your neighborhood. Look at how many houses are for sale in your city. How far can you drive without seeing a for sale sign for a house? I see 5 or 6 or 8 or 12 for sale signs at the corner of one road pointing down the street. They'll be just bundled up, different for sale signs by different realtors. It's not a good sign. Not a good sign. And I've just been noticing stuff like this more and more over the last 6 months probably. So, just be aware, folks, of your surroundings. And take the proper preparedness measures. I'm trying everything I can to not get into a situation where I have to sell stuff that's near and dear to my heart. That's family heirlooms that's been passed down. That is the last thing I ever want to do. And by being prepared, hopefully, I will never have to do that. But folks, be aware of your surroundings and the economic status around you. This is Cokeman 250 from the land of the free and the home of the brave. God bless everybody. And remember, prep smarter and pray harder.